And back at the Worley's house. This is Justin, Gage, Morgan, Ryan, and Debbie. And my name is Rachel Robertson, and today we're going to be talking about how to take care of an orphan kitten. So this is Tipsy. She is my orphan cat. So she's one that we found when she was about a week old, and we bottle raised her from a little baby and took care of her since she was about a week old, and now she just hangs out at our house. So I found a kitten. Now what? Well, we're going to talk about, are they really abandoned, how to care for them, and how to feed them if they are. So these are kittens that we found at about a week old. And as you can hear and kind of see, they're very restless. They don't like to be, or they're not very happy with what they're living in. So, are they really abandoned? Are they clean, plump, and sleeping quietly? So these kittens over here are about a week old, and they are very happy because they are sleeping, and they're all huddled together, and they're very nice and clean. These kittens over here would be considered abandoned because they're very dirty, and they don't look very happy. Ideally, you want to find a kitten when it's about 5 to 6 weeks old, because kittens at a week old need to be bottle fed. So that's what we're going to talk about, is how to take care of these week-old kittens. They must be kept warm. They cannot control their body heat. Heating pad is a good option. They must, the heating pad has to be covered with a towel, so they don't burn themselves. You can tell if they're too warm if they sleep on the edges of it. You'll want them to be sleeping in the middle at a comfortable temperature. You can also do a water bottle heated at 100 degrees, also covered with a towel. You can do a heat lamp in a box, or vets have incubators in their offices that help keep them warm as well. So care. You don't want to feed a cold kitten because they can't keep their body temperature up, and then they won't be able to digest your formula very well. They need to be kept in a box or carrier away from wind currents, and it's just a lot easier to keep a enclosed space warm. You'll want to be changing their bedding fairly frequently because accidents do happen, and they're little kittens and can't really control those movements. So you also want to stimulate them to potty. So you'll take a cotton ball with warm water and gently rub their genitals until they go to the bathroom. And then you'll want to do that until they're about 4 weeks old, just because they can't relieve themselves and go in a litter box at that time. So moving on to feeding. You need a pet nursing kit. This kit comes with bottles, nipples, formula, and a cleaning brush, and that's pictured over here. So it comes with several different sizes for different animals, but you can use them for a kitten. The nipples do not have any openings made into them, so you'll need to take a pair of scissors and cut an X into the top of it. You don't want this X too big or too small, because you'll want enough milk flow that they get fed, but not enough that they have to work for it. So a way to test this is to flip the bottle upside down with milk in it, and if it drips formula out at a very common and slow pace, you've got the right size hole. If it's too less or too much, you know you've made too little or too big of a hole. For the formula, you can get it at Walmart, Tractor Supply, Orscheln's, any place like that. It comes in 2 different types, so it comes in dry and wet, or already mixed formula. For money-wise, dry formula is easier to get because you get more of it. and you can make it as needed, because you'll actually need to refrigerate the formula when it's mixed. When you're making this formula, you do not want to microwave the formula itself. You can microwave the water and then add the formula to it, but don't mix them and then microwave them. So when you start to feed your kittens, you'll want to sterilize your bottles. Kittens should be hungry, so they'll want to nurse. If they don't, you'll need to rub their back or forehead. Their mother does this when they're feeding theirs, so you'll want short little strokes like you're kind of licking them. It just stimulates them to suckle. Feeding wise, kittens under a week need about 1 ounce of formula every 2 hours. Kittens at 2 weeks need 1.5 ounces every 4 to 6 hours. And then kittens at 3 weeks need 2 ounces every 6 to 8 hours. And then once they're around 4 to 5 weeks old, you can start them on wet food. You can add a little bit of dry food as you're going through your wet food and as they're getting a little older. And then about 7 weeks old, they can be permanently on dry food and be permanently on dry food. So, what have we learned today? Well, we learned to distinguish an abandoned kitten, how to take care of them, and how to feed them. So, do you guys have any questions?